a divorced family. My parents divorced when I was like 5 or 6. My parents both immediately remarried to really good people. One had a very traditional conservative, like my mom and my stepdad were very traditionally conservative, and my dad went and had like a awesome partner. They went and bought a lot of property. Like they're very successful because they took like the hustle route, whereas like my mom and my stepdad took like the traditionally conservative route. And I don't know, like for them co-parent, they had a horrible co-parenting situation, but it taught me how to co-parent better. So like I feel like I'm very good about it. I would never, I'm not insecure at all about my fathering. And I think that's the big issue is a lot of guys are insecure about their fathering. So then that's why they argue with other men and stuff. But I think co-parenting is huge over the next 10, 20 years, because think about how many single mothers there are. There's going to be a lot of beta guys that just kind of have to choose those women. And just gonna kind of happen. So you got to learn how to like play ball with that. Like the alphas are gonna have to learn to play balls with the betas that are getting with their exes and
Do you
stuff.
really think?
It's weird.
I think because the red pill and stuff's going more mainstream, I think there's gonna be a lot more dudes who aren't even going to accept that option.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I agree with you completely. Completely. But there's always gonna be beta guys. Like there's always the guys that are too short, or they're just there's something wrong with them. So like there's never gonna be there's always gonna be a surplus of women that are single moms. And I feel like there's always going to be a surplus of beta dudes. They're out there, But that's one of the things I teach a lot on the show is like, because a lot of single moms come on and it's just like I just need to settle for the beta guy, like the beta provider. Like it sucks, but like that guy's going to actually give you a good life. Like I love my stepfather a lot. He maybe come up to the studio tonight. He's a really good guy, and he's actually more my daddy than my actual father was sometimes. So it's like it's really hard for me to argue against a lot of those stance. I love Brolo, I love red pill and everything like that, but I really like a good stepfather that does step up sometimes. I'm very torn apart on that one topic, I guess you could say.
To me, it blows my mind sometimes, right? When I watch your show or other shows, right, and I'll see how like the standards that a single mother will put on a partner. I am truly blown away.
It's sad
at how like restrictive they can be when choosing their partner. Like you realize you're on the back foot here, right? You're in a bad negotiating position, or at least we would think she is.
Yeah.
But like you just said, there is an abundance of blue pilled who are running around who will happily step up and not trying to be offensive to your stepdad or anything. Yeah. But that they'll take that position because they can't really get any. Their options are so limited.
Yes.
Right.
No, I completely I understand both sides of it. Like I just kind of understand the guys that have no other options, but they still want to have a relationship or they still want to have a family in some way, shape, or form. And to me, it's weird because I want my DNA to go on and I want to have more kids, but at the same time, like I don't know, I try to be that's the biggest thing I try to teach on this show is be understanding, because if you ever gone to relationship counselors or anything, like the number one thing they teach is be understanding of your partner. So that's the big thing I teach on this channel is just be understanding of people and your partners and shit. I want to know now, are women that use vibrators a red flag to you? Do you think that's an instant like, oh shit, like she's in pornography or she's into pleasing herself too much? This might be a bad thing in a relationship. What do you think?
No, I don't think it's bad at all. If I'm being honest, look, it could mean one of two things, right? So if she uses a lot of vibrators, well, first of all, I'll say if she uses like super high powered ones,
like the one you're talking about,
like a Hitachi or something like that, man, like. Ladies, stop using that.
Yeah,
it's terrible. You're destroying your clitoris. It's making it way harder for you to get off with any dude, because no dude's tongue or penis is going to be able to produce like a jackhammer type rhythm. Stop. I don't care how fit the guy is. You can't match that, right? So that's first thing. But second of all, do I think it's a red flag? No. Now here's a couple of reasons why. So it could mean she's like a hypersexual girl. Fine. Could mean she's so hypersexual that maybe she does sleep around a lot, and she also just uses vibrators whenever she just is bored. Mm-hmm. That's one possibility. The ability is that she's the kind of girl who actually might save herself and not sleep around, and as such, she'll appease her sexual desires using a vibrator instead.
She could be a green flag in that way.
It could be a green flag in that way. So it really doesn't. I don't think there's a very black and white take on whether or not a woman uses vibrators and stuff. And also, I will say that women who masturbate more, or maybe, again, not using these super high-powered vibrators, but girls who masturbate frequently, it's much easier for them to climax during sex because they're far more aware of their own orgasm and what gets them to orgasm and approaching it, what it feels like. They're easier, they're much better equipped to kind of communicate with their partner, like, oh, slower, faster, harder, softer, whatever. Like, yes, no, do more of that.
That's
right?
Another possible green flag for a relationship. possible
Possible, yeah.
because you're able to communicate better.
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge issue. Is like the sex sucks because nobody knows how to communicate with each other sexually.
And communication in terms of in the bedroom is an interesting thing because I'll say, as a professional who's worked on like BDSM shoots, right, where you have to go over a big checklist of yes, you can do this, you can do this, you can't do this to me, you can't do this to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are my safe words. You can call me these names, you can't call me these names, right?
Yeah.
We go over, especially for BDSM shoots, we go over basically every single possibility of,
Safe word
of what you could do to your partner during that sex act, and nothing kills sexual tension more than going through a checklist, right? So I'm of the opinion that when it comes to like communication in the bedroom, I think that if you want to communicate, you know, your desires and stuff about what you want in the bedroom, it should be done outside of the bedroom, before like totally out of the context of we're about to have sex.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's going to totally destroy the sexual tension.
Yeah.
Like, okay, maybe she'd mention something in passing when you're out having dinner or having a drink or whatever. Oh, I like XYZ thing. It's in passing. Cool. Mm-hmm. And then the next time you see her, if things get kinky, you remembered it.
You don't bring up analytics right before having sex.
Yeah. And I think and I see this a lot with, especially with women, and anytime I've ever talked to like a female star about, okay, how can guys be good in bedroom? They always say communication. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not entirely true, because you know, if we sat down with it in front of you and communicated everything, your pussy would dry up.
Yes.
So that's complete bullshit. So what I think a lot of women are trying to say, and I'm a woman being a misogynist.
Yeah.
I think what they're trying to say in that context is read my body language.
Yeah.
Right. That's what communicate women mostly mean when they say communication, right?
Or talk about it way before.
Right. So every woman's like, oh, people's men are better communicators than men.
No.
Well, then why the hell can't men, like, why the hell are women's like signals so blasé,
subliminal,
super subliminal, and just pure body language? No woman ever goes up and says, "Hey, I think you're cute. Can you ask me on a date?" No woman talks like overtly like that. That's actual. Men are actually way better communicators than women are,
because we're
way
overt.
better.
Yeah,
because we're overt, right? So women want to be communicated subvertly.
Yeah.
So that means body language. So what they really mean when they say, "I want a man who is communicates in the bedroom," what she really means is, I want a guy who can read my body language and can tell when I'm uncomfortable or when I'm willing to go a bit further.
Yeah.
And stop.
This makes me I instantly think about how there's so many guys that haven't even, got laid yet, or they're still virgin, whatever. And that's why they keep losing to these guys that just have an ounce of experience, because God, they're going to miss every one of those cues you're talking about, every single one of them.
It's a winner takes all scenario.
Yes. No, and I've just been realizing this a lot. Like, we've been going to the club a lot lately, and just I know a lot of the guys in Dallas that have difficulty getting girls, and I see how much pre-selection helps me sometimes. It's just this is crazy how big of a difference we are emotionally, how we think, how we talk, and everything. It's like I said why I teach to go out as much as possible.